There's there's a lot we can learn from the U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you to the U.S. Marines for 248 years of service. And think about some of the core things that the Marines have in their organization and how that can benefit you in your business. Coming right up. Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf. Thanks for being part of the conversation. And, I know a buddy of mine that served in the Marine Corps uh, had sent him a thank you for serving and happy birthday, U.S. Marines. One of my uncles was a chopper pilot in the Marine Corps in Korea, in the Korean War. In You can call it police action all you want to. It was a war. Let's be honest. Let's talk straight here, right? No sugarcoating it. And and he was once a Marine, always a Marine. Never let his hair grow long enough to comb rest of his life in because it had such a profound effect on him, not just combat, right? Which is hugely profoundly affecting to those men and women that are involved in it. And it was the camaraderie, it was the training, it was the attitude, the mindset that the Marine Corps instills to this day in members of the Corps, those that serve in the Corps. And think about that in your business. How do you do that with the team, with your team? Like, for example, and I'm looking at Marine Corps' history page on their website. They talk about the first thing they say. It's like, who are we? What's our history? Say our legacy of having each other's back and never backing down. Do you have that kind of environment within your company where you foster having each other's back? Now, think about it with Marine Corps. You have some hard driving people that are in close quarters in a regimented scenario, right? Same color clothes, everything is the same in so many ways, so that there's a Marine Corps, excuse me, as opposed to a bunch of individuals. How do you do that in your business? Not necessarily the same level of rigidness, but what is it that ties everybody together? Do you foster having each other's back or stabbing each other's back? I did some work with a company that, man, should have seen the writing on the wall when I first met them, because you could cut the air with a knife, with a butter knife, classic kind of thing. You could just feel the tension. And people were immediately starting to pull me off to the side and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you in private about, confidence about this. Don't share something with you. You need to know." I was like, you know what? There's no sharing in confidence. I was doing a training for this company, and this was one of the key executives. And first thing I thought was, man, this is going to be a problem, because one of the leaders of the organization is off on the side, and it wasn't the only one. I found out really quickly. How can you have, if you have that kind of environment, how can you have teamwork? How can you have people having each other's back, going the extra mile to help each other, to help customers? If they're so engaged in backbiting, infighting, getting one over and getting ahead of the person next to them instead of the competitor down the street, and making sure that the customer that's in front of them, or that is being served by the order they're working on, the software that they're coding, how can you prosper as a company? How can you grow your company? Right? All that energy is going to be tied up in negative activity, as opposed to being unleashed as a team focused on a common objective. And that is so important. That is so important. Never backing down, looking at a challenge, go, look, this is our standards. These are our company values. Do you always, in your example as the leader of your business, exemplify never backing down on what you say is important and how you expect everybody to operate and to work with each other? And sometimes with customers aren't always right. Most of the time they are, but there are times when you need to have the back of your people over something that's happening with a customer. When someone is perhaps a little overly emotional, when someone has taken a unreasonable position in spite of the best intention, the best actions taken by your team or a supplier that does something, do you blame it on a team or do you blame it? And it's not to get into the blame game. It's like, do you look at accountability, right? Do you publicly praise and then privately admonish? Right? Are you proud in the marketplace? Are you proud in public? Are you talking up your team when you have an opportunity to in front of the team so that they know, wow, you know what? Boss has got my back. Excuse me. Gets me choked up. Makes it easier to have their colleagues back. Right. Now, the Marine Corps, they institute this always having each other's back, never backing down in extreme circumstances that in business you'll never experience. Hopefully, under fire in a fire, excuse me, in a firefight in the street. It's just put the training in, put the consistency, the clarity of what's expected in, and demonstrate the behavior that you want. The culture of your company will be determined by the behavior that you allow and the behavior that you exhibit. That's an example that the Marine Corps sets for us, for all of us as leaders, as emerging leaders, to look at how do they do it, because something they do, military, very good at creating leaders, way better than the civilian world. So thank you, U.S. Marine Corps. We appreciate what you've done. Can't say that enough. Predates the Republic the United States of America. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for organizations like the U.S. Marines. And thank you for being part of Wolf's Watch, being part of the conversation. I look forward to seeing you on the trail.